Hello.
Then. Now.
Countdown to the queens.
Episode number 500.
Forever.
Looks like hell froze over.
Without any more further ado,
Together.
let's jump straight into the show. Hello, I'm back to episode number, I think it's 84 of the TEW IX Challenge Run. We are here for ECW December 17th, 2024, coming off of Saturday night's main event, where there was no changes in championships for ECW. Warden retained against Sheamus, and Blair Davenport failed to take the championship from Ruby Riott, thanks to some Florence interference. The Rock beat Joe Hendry in the opening match. The Rock is obviously not here tonight because he's The Rock, but Ava will be speaking on his behalf to kick off the show. And we announced that Kevin Owens would return to action tonight. He will indeed be in action tonight, and our main event will be Adam Cole Bebe against his former Paragon stablemate Cesaro, the man that he brought into the Paragon. I mean, I say that. Like, I've noticed that, like, I keep saying, the man he brought into the Paragon. That's technically everybody, because it's his fucking group. But, like, yeah, he brought Cesaro in at WrestleMania to be, like, the hitman or whatever. And now, yeah, he's going to go one-on-one with his own boy in the main event tonight. Plus a whole lot more. Florence is in action following her return. And, yeah, without any more further ado, let's jump straight into the show. We start off the show with the Bloodline in the ring, sans The Rock, so Ava, Solo, Talatonga, and Tamatonga and Tongaloa. And Ava says, "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to ECW. Now, as your assistant to the general manager and, wise woman of the new Bloodline, it's my honor to welcome you to ECW. The High Chief, the final boss, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, was in action on Saturday night. He took down a fake-ass Uso in Joe Hendry, a guy who's trying his hardest to force himself into the Bloodline, into our family. The Rock taught him a lesson, but after that match went down, a lot of things happened in regards to the Bloodline. You see, the Usos and Roman, they used that opportunity that The Rock was down and exhausted after his match to get the jump on us. Real proud, guys. Real good job you did there. But it doesn't matter, because tonight is a fresh new night. Roman Reigns and the Usos have been banned from tonight's episode of ECW at request of the final boss, Dwayne The Rock Johnson. So it's going to be a big night for the new Bloodline, because we're celebrating our victory at Saturday night's main event. Now, there is also one more elephant in the room we have to address in regards to the new Bloodline. I've heard it, you've all heard it. When are the Gorillas of Destiny going to next defend these ECW Tag Team Championships, and against who? Well, I figured, since we're in such happy moods after our victory at tonight's main event, since we care about the people here so much, and we're all about, making profits for TKO, I figured we'd give you an ECW World Tag Team Championship match right here, right now, to kick off ECW. The Gorillas of Destiny will defend against who we've determined to be next in line for the championships, Rip Fowler and Jagger Reed of the Grizzled Young Veterans. Now, if you'll excuse us, we've got more championship business to attend to, because the final episode of ECW is taking place New Year's Eve in 2 days' time. Or in 2 weeks' time. And we've got big matches to announce for that show. So yeah, out come the GYV for their championship match. They got a couple of wins recently. I remember giving them wins because they kept losing. But I think they might have lost a 6-man tag to Mustafa Ali. I think it was Ali, Shinsuke, and Shibata against Tekkers during the Ali and Zack Sabre Jr. feud. But yeah, they haven't lost a 2-on-2 tag match in a while, so yeah, they can have a tag. They can get a tag title shot, sure. Gets a 77, sure, whatever. Nice little way to open the show. Tamatonga and Tongaloa do retain the championships, though. Tamatonga pinning Rip Fowler with Guerrilla Warfare in 9 minutes and 4. 52 for Tonga, 65 for Tama, 83 for Rip, 76 for Jagger Reed, And yeah, nice defense for the Gorillas of Destiny. They haven't had many of those since they won the championships. They're celebrating in the ring when we hear like a commotion from the crowd. And, you know, two men jump over the barricade in hoodies. And they get into the ring and they super kick Tama Tonga. They super kick Tonga Loa. And then they take the hoodies down. It is, of course, the Usos. You know, Solo rushes in. He tries to take the fight to them. They double super kick Solo. Solo goes down. And then Big Tala Tonga gets on the apron. He stares down the Usos. And like Solo orders him to back down. And he does back down. But he could have killed him if he wanted to. And then the Usos take the mic and he goes, "Hey, great defense tonight, Us. I see we ain't allowed in the building tonight, Us, because you're still salty about what happened back at Saturday night's main event." Well, that's fair, because we've been spoken to Paul Heyman, you know, the man who still runs ECW. And if Dwayne ain't here, Paul's word is final. So, enjoy your championship defense tonight, boys. Because you got another one coming up in 2 weeks' time. The final ECW of 2024. The Gorillas of Destiny defend the ECW Tag Team Championship against the Usos. So yeah, big championship match coming up in 2 weeks' time. The Usos will challenge Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa for the championships on the final ECW of 2024. It's funny because, like, if this was real life, it would be taped. Because it's New Year's Eve, obviously. So, yeah. But, whatever. It's not going to be taped in this game. Well, it might be, like, in headcanon. But, like, you won't see spoilers for it or anything. It's fine. We then get a Hook promo. You know, Hook's out on the streets of New York, sitting on steps. He goes, "Last week, I faced a real difficult situation. Katsuyori Shibata, Shinsuke Nakamura, they took out my friends. And we don't know if or when we'll see them here on ECW again. Difficult situation because I respect the hell out of Shinsuke Nakamura. I respect the hell out of Shibata. Shinsuke took that chance on himself to come to America and make a name for himself. Shibata coming back from career-ending injury. Nearly life-threatening surgery. To finally get his shot in WWE. But what I don't respect is what you did last week. You want to see break me to be molded by yourself and your training. That's cool. I'm not entirely against that. You know, you're two great competitors. But after what you've done now to my friends, I wouldn't be caught dead training with you. So now you've made yourself targets. Shinsuke, Shibata, I'll see one of you next week. So yeah, Hook promo responding to the death of the Dudleys last week, because, you know, apparently one of the Dudleys hates me, so fuck him. Yeah. You know, if I was really petty, I would keep the other Dudley around and, you know, have him and Hook just as a duo, and then, you know, make that guy the Jannetty because he fucked with the wrong guy. But, you know, him fucking his twin brother over is, you know, more of a fuck you to him than it is to to keep his brother around, because, you know, now his twin brother might start to hate him because he fucked this opportunity at the big time. But yes, Hook will face either Shinsuke. I think it's Shinsuke, actually. I don't think it's one of Shinsuke. Well, it is one of them, but I think it is specifically Shinsuke next week. We then see Ava approach Warden backstage. She goes, "Warden, you know, big defense of the ECW Championship at Saturday Night's Main Event, you know, tough, hard-hitting bout against Sheamus. That's what ECW is all about." And he goes, "What do you want?" She goes, "Well, I'm here to talk to you about your next title defense." And he goes, "Great." He goes, "I know you're probably sick to death of our family and you want to leave our family alone." And Warden goes, "I thought I was finished with your family after War Games, but continue." He goes, "But you did say you were going to get your hands on," I believe the word was, "Solo Sikoa after what he did to you back at Halloween Hell last year, costing you that ECW Championship. I say you get that match in 2 weeks' time. You against Solo Sikoa, the final ECW of 2024. And Warden decides and goes, "Oh, of course you do. Great. I've already beat his cousins, his brothers. guess he's next on my list, and then once and for all I can move on, because there's no other member of that family that I ain't put down yet. None of them. Every single one of them would have fallen at my feet after next week. '82. Florence is in action against NXT Japan champion Natsuki Sugita. Florence beats her in 12:58 with Rain Flow. 90 for Florence, 81 for Natsuki. Oh my god, that is a joke. She's scoring an 81 with like hardly any popularity. I must not call her up. We've got enough of them. But yeah, Florence picks up the win. You know, I needed somebody from developmental that will get her a good match, because I'm not having her just beat Cheetah again. So Natsuki did the job. It's okay. After the match, Florence grabs the microphone. She goes, "Blair Davenport, you know, you've been around here longer than I have, actually. So it's a bit weird to say this, but I sort of put you on the map, didn't I? And then you got the chance to become ECW Women's Champion at Saturday night's main event. You had the chance to take down Ruby Riott, the woman who's held this championship since Survivor Series, when she beat me for it, in fact. And that didn't quite go your way, did it, Blair? And why was that? Because you must have forgotten about me. Okay. So, let's make one thing perfectly clear, Ruby. If you are hearing the sound of my voice right now, I'm coming back for my championship. You can keep my championship warm for as long as you want to. As long as I want you to. But I have personal issues I need to settle with a former friend of mine, the woman who cost me the championship, because you wouldn't have that championship right now if it wasn't for Blair Davenport. So, Blair Davenport, come out here right now and face me face to face, unless you're scared and a coward of getting your head kicked off. And then Blair does come out. She stands on the stage and she goes, "Florence, why would I come to that ring right now? You've made it perfectly clear that what you plan to do in there is take my head off because, you know, I cost you the championship. As far as I'm concerned, we're all even now. We're even, okay? You cost me, I cost you. But it didn't have to be this way, did it? You know, we were friends for over a decade in this industry before any of this started happening. You're the one who let championships get in the way of our friendship. Okay? The entire time I stood by your side as women's champion, I was waiting for that opportunity, and you finally gave me that opportunity at Auckland Assault in one of my home countries. And Ruby was right about you. Ruby, she may be a bit of a bitch, and she's going to get hers again once I'm finished with you, no question about it. But, quite frankly, she read you like a book, Florence. You wanted the easy way out because you wanted to be the longest reigning ECW Women's Champion of all time. You wanted to take that championship from WrestleMania to WrestleMania. You wanted to carry yourself as the ace of this division. And many people obviously still look at you like that because of the longevity you did have as champion and the star power you brought to this division. But is that really the case? Because that entire time I was by your side, I got to know you better than anybody. I know what makes you tick, and quite frankly, I know what makes you break. And yes, Ruby may have set me up and this whole friendship went to tits. But you exposed what a fraud you were, Florence, when you were so quick to throw me under the bus. And I couldn't let you stand around here still as the women's champion after all of that. Florence goes, "Yeah, well now we're even, so get in this ring and do something about it." Blair goes, "On second thought, I'd rather not tonight. You know, you never know when I could be called upon for that big rematch against Ruby Riott that I need, because you screwed me out of that championship opportunity." And Florence goes, "Oh, you need a rematch. What about my rematch, okay? Because you screwed me out of the championship too." Blair goes, "You deserved it. I didn't." No matter. We will have our match on my terms. Okay? And until then, goodbye, Blair just walks away. Florence storms to the back to go and try and find Blair Davenport. And yeah, tension between the two former friends. Both being cost the ECW Women's Championship by each other. Then see Next Gen backstage. And Kathy Cool is looking at a watch on a fake watch on her wrist, tapping her wrist. She goes, here in WWE, there's always been, travel problems. We travel the world for a living every single week. There's always going to be travel issues, but my watch isn't checked up properly because it hasn't been boss time around here for a long time. Apparently she was on paid vacation last week. I guess that's the privileges you get when you're the CEO and you make millions of dollars and you're not rookies trying to find your feet in this industry like we are. But we're here again this week and no Sasha. Weird. She hasn't actually shown up on ECW since we've been here. Couldn't be that the great Sasha Banks, one of the 4 horsewomen of WWE, one of the people who ushered in the women's revolution, is scared of being overtaken by the next generation. Could that be the case? Well, sure it could. But it's not, right, Sasha? Surely the great Sasha Banks knows better than that. Surely the great Sasha Banks will be back here on ECW in 2 weeks' time. I'm waiting. We then see, Nigel and Mauro talking about that. Go, where is Sasha Banks? The $1 million women's champion hasn't been seen around here since Next Gen. Kathy Cool was exactly right. And then Nigel gets a text on his phone. He goes, I'm sorry, Mauro, I'll be back in a minute. The camera follows Nigel as Nigel gets up off the commentary table. He walks to the back. He walks out to the car park. And he goes up to a car window. He sort of knocks on the door and waves inside. And then Kevin Owens steps out. He goes, Nigel! You got my text. He goes, yes, I did, Kevin. Your match is coming up next. We need to get you out to that ring. He goes, thank you, Nigel. You're the only guy I could trust to take me to the ring tonight because everybody in that locker room hates me for speaking the truth about their fake god. Okay? You've known Kyle O'Reilly for a long-ass time, too, because I know I have, and I was proud of his progress here in WWE, but now you've made me see the light, Kevin. Kyle is a fake god. You are right. You do need to take that television championship off him. He goes, I do. I am the rightful champion. Thank you, Nigel. I knew I could trust you. And then Kevin Owens walks off for his match in the ring against Dudley Davis. Gets an 80. Kev's kind of washed. Hold on. 9 minutes and 19. KO beats Dudley Davis with a pop-up powerbomb. 73 for Kevin Owens. 91 for Dudley Davis. So yeah, Kev does pick up the win. He got Nigel to come and escort him out to the ring, and now once he's finished, he leaves through the crowd again, not talking to anybody. And he just mouths out to the camera. He goes, where's your god, huh? I killed him. I killed your god. And when he comes back, I'm going to take my rightful championship from him. Get a quick backstage interview. Kelly Kincaid's with Sheamus. So Sheamus, now the champions, it wasn't your night. You failed to come up short. You failed to capture the ECW championship from Warden. What's next for you? Because Kelly, it was a big opportunity for me to finally become the ECW champion. I've made a big thing about holding every single championship here in WWE, and when the ECW came back, that was another championship for me to add to my resume, especially considering I got me roots on ECW. Of course, not quite the same ECW we got now, or even we had back in the 90s, but ECW nonetheless. So what's next for Sheamus? Easy. We get back on the old saddle. We go out there next week and we remind the world why I'm a former WWE champion. Why I deliver banger after banger after banger every time I step into the ring. And why sooner rather than later I will get another shot at becoming the ECW champion. And this time, Wardy, he knows what's coming. And that's a big size 18 brogue right to his stupid face. So yeah, Sheamus in action next week. 78, that's not awful, but, Alba's had better. Let's put it that way. Liv Morgan defeats Alba Fire in a singles action in 13:03 of an Oblivion. 81 for Liv, 80 for Alba. So Liv actually scores higher than Alba Fire, who's been quite impressive whenever she stepped into the ring. And Liv scored an 81. Could it be that... Pause, Colin. Could it be that the game is starting to see Liv's true value? Quote-unquote, air quotes, because, you know, it's debatable what her true value really is. But could the beast of numbers I'm looking at with Liv's picture on it be turning a profit heading into 2025? I don't know. We'll have to see what comes from this promo segment coming up next. Because she does speak. Ugh. And it gets a 67. Liv Morgan is looking very stale. Whoopsie. Anyway. Liv, she gets on the mic and she goes, well, would you look at that? In case you've been living under a rock, what you didn't notice the last couple of weeks is that I've been picking up victory after victory after victory. And I'm actually so glad that I have been, because after a couple of months, you know, out of the picture here on ECW, I couldn't help but feel like I should be the next in line for a shot at the Women's Championship. And who do I see holding the ECW Women's Championship? Well, it's my old friend Ruru. You know, Ruby, she's been picking at the brain of Florence and Blair Davenport and everybody she steps in with of the past couple of months. And I've seen it break these women. I've seen Florence break. Blair's broken. Hell, she tried it with Naomi and Shantae a couple of months ago too, and they haven't really been the same since. But you know who that shit won't work on? Me. Because I've lived that. I've been there before. I've seen Ruru at her worst. I've seen her do everything that she's done to these women to me. And I've kept on fighting, and I'm still here right now. And I'm gonna be the one to bring Ruby Riott back to reality when I snatch that ECW Women's Championship from her hands. That's when Ruby does interrupt. She goes, Liv! Hi, I forgot you were on ECW. Hi, my old friend. How you holding up, you know? It's not really been a good year for you like it has for me, has it? Because you see, I'm an ECW World Champion, and you're not. You're barely a factor here on ECW. You're part of a new tag team. You know, last time I saw you, you were teaming up with Shida, and she realized what a pain in the ass you were, and she turned on you. So, just like I did, because we're smart women, Liv. But, you know, you're wasting your breath because you're not Women's World Championship quality, Liv. But I don't want to talk to you. I want to talk to Sonya. Sonya goes, what? She goes, Sonya, you are ECW Women's Championship quality. You've been the Raw Women's Champion, you've been SmackDown Women's Champion, but you've never quite won this one, have you? Because you see, Sonya, you are the exact sort of wrestler that ECW looks for. If you were around when ECW was in its prime, you'd have been probably the woman to bring women's wrestling to ECW, you know, with your badass MMA background, you know, your take no prisoners attitude. That's Sonya Deville. So, I look at you stood here, I see my old friend Liv, you know, we all see what happens every time people get close to Liv, they end up kicking her to the curb. Why wait? Why are you a background player when you've been a two-time world champion, but Liv Morgan is the face of this tag team and she's only held the championship once for a cup of coffee 4 years ago? Okay, do you want to be me? Or do you want to be Liv? Take a long, hard think about that question, Sonya, because it's not a very difficult one to answer. And then Sonya takes the mic and she goes, so here it is, okay. This is exactly what Liv was just talking about. You're coming out here and you're once again trying to play mind games with people. This time on me. Listen here, you know. Liv, she just called your bluff. We see right through you for what you are, Ruby. And I don't know about Liv, but I'm damn sure going to do something about it. Because somebody needs to smack you in the mouth. And I think in 2 weeks' time on ECW, you and I, we should go one-on-one and I'll shut your mouth for good. And then you'll be forced to vacate that Women's Championship because you won't be able to wrestle anymore. And Ruby just laughs and goes, oh, Sonya, you, like I said, You're a really great competitor. You know, you're the exact sort of competitor that ECW needs. You know, if I wasn't around. But since I am the women's champion and you've got Liv in your corner, Liv can't guide you to success like I guided myself to success. Like I guided Liv to success. Look at Blair Davenport now as well. The list goes on and on and on and on and on. Sonya Deville will be yet another name in the history books that goes down as, you know, what could have been. What happened to Sonya after she won those 2 women's championships? Huh? She sat there and played second fiddle to a loser like Liv. But, you know, that's for you to think about. I've made my peace. I'm doing pretty good. See you next time, girls. And she leaves. We then cut backstage. Speaking of Blair Davenport and Florence, Florence has caught up to Blair, and a brawl has ensued backstage. Florence and Blair Davenport just getting into a brawl backstage when Kelsey Cook, of all people, appears, and she, like, tosses Blair Davenport off and, like, chases her away, or like, doesn't chase her, like, scares her away, and Blair goes, "Oh, look at you, got a new spooky friend, have you?" And she walks away, and then Florence is like, "Thanks, I guess." She looks confused to see Kelsey, and Kelsey just sort of, like, just looks at her and walks away, and Florence just shakes her head like, "What the fuck is this bitch doing here now?" 2 weeks time is the next ECW. I caught myself, I was going to say next week, but no, it isn't. It's in 2 weeks, of course. We've got a pretty stacked show for the final ECW of 2024. The first match being for the ECW World Championship, as the champion Warden does battle with another member of the Bloodline, one he's yet to defend the championship against, that being Solo Sikoa, the formerly, I guess, formerly tribal. No, he is still the current tribal chief because they won in War Games. So yeah, the current self-proclaimed tribal chief has the chance to become the world champion of ECW in 2 weeks' time when he faces off against Warden. Plus, for the ECW Tag Team Championships, more Bloodline warfare for the championships in 2 weeks' time as the Gorillas of Destiny make the next defense of their championships against the reunited Usos. Their first shot of championship gold in years. Can they get the job done? We'll have to wait and find out. Plus, following that promo earlier on tonight, Ruby Riott and Sonya Deville one-on-one on next week's episode of ECW, and Sheamus back in action, looking to rebound after his loss at Saturday Night's main event. The fella, the Celtic Warrior, will be delivering a banger in 2 weeks' time. 93 rated main event. That's fucking sick, especially because I had a DQ finish. Maybe I'll run this back again sometime with a clean finish. But Adam Cole, Bebe, and Cesaro, of course, ends in a disqualification because Dolph Ziggler super kicks Adam Cole. And the Paragon team to maul Adam Cole after the match, just in the ring. And it's just another attack angle, really. We're really hammering home the point that since leaving the Paragon, Adam Cole doesn't really have anyone by his side. And he's continuously getting ambushed and outnumbered by the Paragon. And like as the attack goes on, I do imagine we cut to a shot on the ramp of Susie and Uncle Howdy just stood there. Probably not, no, Bo, like the Bo Dallas in his Bo Dallas gear. Like just stood there watching on as Adam Cole is attacked. And they don't jump in to help him, they just sit there and just sort of observe. But yeah, the Paragon again stand tall to end ECW. A rated show. Yeah, I thought the show, to be honest, this show I had nothing really going into. I thought it was going to be kind of filler, but I ended up actually quite enjoying what I did on this show. Like a lot of moving parts were put into place heading into, you know, the 2025 and the Rumble. But yeah, what matters more though is what you thought of the show. So really make sure in the comments below, and I'll see you next time for SmackDown. See you then.